So I am driving, but I have about 134 miles straightaway between Houston and my hometown of Boerne, San Antonio area. And I feel the need to talk. And so for those of you that are freaking out that I'm driving and I have this phone recording myself, sorry. Bad me. Bad. Today marks 16 years that I have been sans alcohol and drugs. That I have been walking the happy road of destiny, trudging, so they say in the big book of recovery. It's a pretty exciting day. Excuse me. Because I remember when I was early in the program and I'd look at these people that had 5, 6, 7 years, and God forbid the people that had 10, 12, and even the people who have 20 years and 30 years. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing in this program? Haven't you recovered? Haven't you figured it out? Aren't you all healed and better? Well, I'm one of those people now. I hang out in the rooms of recovery and share my experience, strength, and hope with anybody who shows up. And it's a deep it's a deep blessing. People who knew me before August 21st, 2005, I'm sorry. There's a process in recovery called making amends. It's steps 8 and 9. There are 12 steps. The 8th step is to identify all the harm that we have committed against people and to make amends wherever possible, whenever possible, within reason. You don't want to walk up to somebody's wife whose husband you've screwed and say, hey, I'm really sorry I committed adultery with your husband. Not good call. It's not funny. Very common though. You don't want to, you just got to be careful. In most cases though, for most of us, we can make amends, and we do. We write letters, we call people up. But you know what's crazy, folks, is in the last couple of years, I thought it was my memory. You know, I'm almost 52. I'll be 52 in December. And I thought it was my memory, but it's not my memory. It's not my memory. It's God's blessing to remove memories from me. It's God's blessing because I'm not that person. Like, I'm not even close to being that person that did some of the really bad things that I did. And I don't even remember all the things. I started thinking back on the morning of August 21st when I woke up in 2005, naked, some room I didn't even know where I was. When I did figure it out, I realized I was in my hotel room at the Royal York Hotel. I was at an international board meeting for which I was one of the leaders working for this international organization, and I had to present and look respectable. Yet here I was naked in my bed, hungover, splitting headaches, sick to my stomach, wanting to wonder what the hell I had just eaten the night before because my mouth tasted like a garbage can. Those of you that know, you know. And then it hit me. This is the 3rd time this year that I've done that. And let's be real clear. There were other nights, other mornings I'd woken up hungover, in pain, with a headache, sick to my stomach, mouth feeling like the bottom of a garbage can. It's just the other times, you know, I was usually at my house. This was the 3rd time I was at a business event. If you know anything about my addiction story, I tell people that my first drug of choice and my main drug of choice still, although I believe I'm recovered, Lord willing, I've done the 12 steps on that as well, is productivity, is work. I have put myself in the hospital from overwork. I've never put myself in the hospital for drugs or alcohol or, you know, legal pills or any other thing else. I have put myself in the hospital on 4 different occasions, starting in college, for overwork. just literally running my body into the ground. Absolutely nothing physically wrong with me, but a massive shutdown of my body, writhing in pain because my body was crying out to me to pay attention. Any case, by the grace of God and the dis-ease, the demon, the curse, the mental illness, the allergy, whatever you call this demon of addiction, of alcohol and drug abuse that exists on both sides of my family, the maternal and the paternal side, I too am not good at drinking. You should not put alcohol in my hands. Those of you that know me, I'm a very loving drunk. Too loving. You're my best friend, and I'll probably make out with you if you let me get away with it. It's not funny. It's horrible. And hence why I'm glad I don't remember a majority of the stories. Some of you all remember them, and then you call me up and tell me that, whatever crap I've done, and I just flat out don't remember. And you don't believe me when I say I don't remember, but I don't remember. And you take it personally. But I don't remember making out with you. I don't remember. I don't even know who the hell you are. Anybody in recovery gets it. We all know the insanity. We laugh at the frickin' depraved, frickin' sick and wrongness of our life. Those of you normies that are listening to this, you're probably freaking out. Sorry. Welcome to my insanity. I don't do that stuff anymore, people. I have not, pretty much, mostly, for the last 16 years, have not done that stuff. I've done some crazy crap in the 16 years, don't get me wrong. Recovery is a process. You don't just snap out of it. And in my case, my recovery took the form of many demons, many dis-eases that I had to confront, many thought processes that I had to work the 12 steps on. Another area, so obviously I had to work the 12 steps on my workaholism. I'm a workaholic. I'm no longer a workaholic. Just like I'm no longer an alcoholic, no longer a drug addict, no longer a sex and love addict, no longer a foodaholic, no longer all these, no longer a codependent, all these 12-step programs that exist for people like myself who have idols of all kinds. So I've worked it on the workaholism. I have worked the 12 steps with regard to my body. Some of you know, maybe you believe that my drug of choice, my addiction, was body dysmorphia, because I believe I'm mostly healed from body dysmorphia. Makes me want to cry a little bit because I know I'm not totally free of some of the sick and wrong thinking around my body, but I'm way better than I was. I used to loathe my body. I used to never want to look at it. It was very hard. I wouldn't go on dates. I wouldn't go to events. I always went to work, but there were times when I'd wake up in the morning and almost couldn't go to work because I couldn't get dressed. Couldn't stand to think that someone might see me. Very uncomfortable in my own skin, very uncomfortable in my body. What's wild is the body dysmorphia, my healing from body dysmorphia was clear to me, way more clear with all this crazy gender insanity that's going around. People that don't want to be male, don't want to be female, God gave them the gift of being male, or God gave them the gift of being female, and they don't want to be the gender that God assigned to them. And then society is trying to normalize this. What society is trying to normalize is a mental illness, folks. It's a disease. Society is trying to normalize a demon of the mind, a demon of the heart, a demon of the spirit. It is not correct to not be a male or a female, period. Period. It is not of God's design. Now, Kasandra struggled tremendously with body dysmorphia. It wasn't that I didn't want to be a female. I never wanted to be a male. Never. Never. But it was hard being a girl. The amount of pressure attached to being a girl. I hated it. And I wasn't an unattractive girl. I was always a pretty girl. I was always a relatively thin girl, normal, healthy body. Nothing, it's never overweight, technically. Never in my life, but technically, well, as an adult. COVID-15. I got the COVID-15. But even then, I've never been unattractive in my face or in my body. And I couldn't stand it. I couldn't stand being called pretty. I loved it and hated it all at the same time because it was a weird emphasis on my body, and I never wanted the emphasis on my face or my body. I wanted the emphasis on my mind. I wanted the emphasis on my character. And the emphasis was always on my face and on my body, and I hated it. So I understand not being comfortable in the body God gave you. I understand a little bit why these people may not want to be male or female, but they're wrong. And they're not normal. I mean, they're normal, but they're not. Don't normalize it for them. Especially a child. God forbid our brains don't finish forming until we're in our mid-20s. God forbid, people. Don't frickin' quote me science when you don't know the science of neurological development. Any case, and God forbid, Christians, stop it. Know what the Bible says. God created the male and female for a reason. Stop misquoting the Bible. So, it does pain my heart, the people who are struggling with their gender identity. It pains me for them. Because I've spent a lot of years being uncomfortable in my body. And I've had to work the 12 steps multiple times on my body. And let me say, it's not just been the community of recovery that's been beautiful to me and helped me transition through this. Transition through the disease, the demons, the mental illness, the idol worship. It's not just been the community of recovery. It's been the community of you all who listen. It's been the community of my people on Facebook and social media. It's been you wonderful people. You have loved me. You've let me be crazy, weird. You're really beautiful people. And I thank you for staying connected to me. You all know I'm not a fan of these masks and this isolation. I know far too much research around the deleterious effects of this mental psychosis, this mental illness of accepting this dehumanization. Not a fan of it. And so I thank you. I thank you for those of you who have met with me face to face, hugged me, loved me. And I thank you even for those of you who believe in the insanity of isolation. Whatever. Stay isolated. You've loved me still. And I do appreciate that. I do appreciate you, even though I completely disagree with you. I do love you. Even in your isolated world. Because you've loved me back. That's what it takes, folks. That's why I'm saying this stuff to you. It takes all kinds. It takes all types. It takes all processes, and it just takes what it takes. It's been 16 years of me praising the Lord for helping me be who He calls me to be. And it is my deep, deep desire to help you rise into who God created you to be. If these posts help you do that, if my videos, my YouTube channel, my website where I post webinars, have blogs and vlogs help you, if my book helps you, if my presentations that I give live help you, amen. I'm available. Hineni. Send me, Lord, Hineni. I am your personal excellence drill sergeant. I yelled at you a little bit. You know I do that. I yell at you. I yell at you because I want you free, because God wants you free. He tells us, I am the God who took you from the land of slavery and bondage. I freed you. You shall worship me. No other gods before me. No other idols before me. Nothing before me. Not even yourself. So yeah, I yell at you. I yell at you because I care like God cares, and I'm just not perfect like God to do it as well as He does it. He, she, it, our Father, our parent, our mother in heaven. So thank you, thank you, thank you. These 16 years have been mind-blowing. For what it's worth, I'm entering a new phase of life. I just gave a presentation at the American Business Women's Association, Houston Area Council, Women Celebrating Women Annual Luncheon. It is such a phenomenal event. If you are in the Houston area, you have to look up a local abwa.org. Look up American Business Women's Association. Find out a local chapter. If you can't find a local one, join their national. I'm currently not part of a local group because I moved and there's no local group close to me. But I love these crazy women. They've taught me to love myself more. Any case, thank you for inviting me to speak to you all. I love being of service to the American Business Women's Association and look forward to speaking to other chapters, other groups. Give me an excuse to travel to your place in the country. I love excuses to travel. I'm also preparing to have my son be married. My precious one and only biological son. I have the blessing of 2 bonus sons. But I'm going to watch my son get married and then I get a daughter. I'm very excited about this phase of life. I'm also launching another business. Remember I mentioned that workaholism thing? It's a very different business. I'll tell you more about it when it's more formed. I have the LLC and all the legal documents. I've invested the boatloads of money. I've started the training programs. I'm doing the deal. But I'll keep you posted because it should be a very interesting case study once it's all said and done. Give me another 6 months and then I'll talk about it. I'll have enough data to filter some of the research to you to be of service in terms of what it means. And who knows, it might be some book. But regardless, I just spoke to the Houston Area Council Women Celebrating Women's Luncheon about writing a new book. So I am writing a new book. I'm super excited about this new book. It has the glorious chapter of liberation and freedom. It has the glorious chapters of a daughter in love, a grown son who is launching his new life, and other bonus sons who are launching their new lives. It has the glorious chapter of almost 8 years of marriage. I've never been with any other human, besides my mom and my son and a family member that long. So Chris Mitchell has put up with me and allowed me to love on him and learn with him. So there's the chapter of beautiful marriage. Research proves if you get beyond year 7, the trajectory only goes up. So I'm looking forward to that chapter. I have the chapter in my new book about this business, a completely different business model, 100%, 90% remote, 90% without humans. 90%, 100% requires very little skill. So, lots of chapters to write in my new book. That is exactly what I would like to bring to you all with your groups, is the new beginnings of writing a new book and what that looks like and how you can think about it. So I'd love to be part of presenting that to you, your peoples, whether that's virtual or in person. And yes, I desire in person. Fly me to where you live, pay for my gas, put me in a hotel. Depending upon who you are, I might waive the fee. Folks, I love you. I appreciate you. May God richly bless you. May God make his face shine upon you. May God turn to you, look at you, and give you peace. Shalom.